my God. Did you get a wedding invite?
Sure did.
Yeah, that's been a lot of planning,
Yeah.
a lot of details and planning for stuff.
Yeah.
You might have a king cake at the wedding,
Oh, that's gonna be nice. You gonna put a baby in it?
a big king cake from Brick Oven Bakery. Live with no camera on world. I should put a baby in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got all kind of people coming from down south.
Really?
They're gonna have some Cajuns in the house.
Definitely with a king.
Mm-mm. Y'all just swallow it or y'all spit?
Oh, you swallow it. It doesn't hurt anything.
Labauve.
Right?
Okay. Labauve.
Definitely from Cajun.
You say you from Rain?
No, Lake Arthur.
Okay.
Lake Arthur. Morning Gator. Raised in Lake Arthur. Yeah. They're only 15 miles from each other.
But over there by Lafayette, huh?
Between Lafayette and Lake Charles, right smack dab in the middle is a place called Jennings. And if you go south of
Yeah, I
Jennings,
know where Jennings is at.
yeah, you go south of Jennings, about 15 miles.
So it's kind of over there by Avery Island.
Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby.
Welcome back to another episode of Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby. I hope everybody's having a beautiful week, a beautiful day. Man, I think it was 70 something degrees today. Man, it's always a catch though in North Dakota. You know what I mean? You get 70 something degrees, but the wind be blowing. You know what I mean? But it was a nice day. I did get a chance to go for a long walk around a golf course. You know, they was out there with their hoochie daddy shorts on playing golf. But I ain't never played golf before. So if anybody wants to take me, feel free to reach out. But tonight's show is being sponsored by Tied for Second and New Freedom Center. Beds are available. Just call 701-527-4000. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Prairie Recovery Center in Raleigh, North Dakota. If you're looking for a bed, call Prairie Recovery Center. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Serenity Bridge Sober Living right here in Bismarck, North Dakota. The House of Fade, Resurrection Tattoo, where you can get hooked up and not effed up. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Jadobo, the leading spice in the land. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoning, baby. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Preferred Heated and Air, your leading heated and air in the Bisman area. Well, I got a special guest in the house tonight. I got my cousin from Louisiana, straight from Louisiana, Amber Labauve. How you doing?
I'm doing.
Yeah, you having a good day?
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming.
Mhm.
And she is representing Prairie Recovery Center.
That's right.
So, Amber, how long have you been sober and clean?
Since March 15th of 2023.
Congratulations, Amber.
Thank you.
Well, I'm proud of you. And on behalf of Tied for Second and New Freedom Center, you get this free T-shirt.
I love it. Thank you.
And it's amazing. How does it feel?
Feels good. Feels really good.
Is that the longest you've been sober, or you tried before?
No, that's the longest I've been sober.
Yeah, this is as long as I've been sober too. But so where exactly are you from in Louisiana?
Place called Lake Arthur, Louisiana.
Lake Arthur, Louisiana. Y'all Google it. It's over there somewhere by Lake Charles and Jennings, and on the west side of the state.
Mhm.
And How was it growing up in Lake Arthur?
It was good. Small town, 5,000 people.
Hmm.
It was growing up there. We played on the streets till the lights came on, and then it's time to go home.
Right. I knew the feeling. 'Cause I
Right.
was the same. They had to come find me. But yeah, mom, dad, brothers, sisters.
Yeah, my mom, she's still living. She lives in Gaydon, Louisiana, which is about 10 miles from Lake Arthur. I have one brother, one sister, and then a stepsister and stepbrother.
Okay.
Got a stepfather. Well, I don't even call him a stepdad. He's just my dad.
Right.
And then my biological father died in 2008.
Okay. A lot of fishing and hunting
Yes.
and things going on growing up.
Yeah. Me and my grandpa, we used to go turtling a lot. Catch a
Okay.
bunch of turtles and uh,
Catching the big alligator snapping turtles.
all of them, yellow
Y-
bellies to the big snappers,
Yep.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Turtle sauce pecan. I mean, actually, for people that's commercial, you can go to Roof Chris Steakhouse and they sell turtle soup.
Oh, really?
Yep. And it's good too.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, I used to catch a lot of turtles too. You know what I mean? I played in the ditch. You know what I mean? In the
Right.
canal.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was a dirty kid. You know what I mean? My mom would be so mad. She'd buy me some tennis shoes and I'd be in the swamp. You know?
Right.
But it was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it was cool. Uh, any hurricane storms growing up?
Oh, yeah. Lots. I've been through quite a few.
Yep.
Rita was my last one that I went through.
Okay.
Hmm.
And that was in what?
That was in 2005. Hurricane Katrina and Rita hit two weeks apart.
Yep. And
Mhm.
then they had another one that hit around 2010. And I was there. I was there for that. I remember it was,
Yep.
yep, all the power went out. I remember a lot of storms growing up though.
Hmm.
Uh, and my birthday is August 25th. So it's at the end of August, and that's when the storms always come. So I remember being in the dark singing happy birthday, you know what I mean? With the
Right.
power out, riding the P-Rug down the street, you know what I mean? And you get off of school. So it's
We'd have hurricane parties.
yeah. Um, did y'all ever go to church or anything?
Yeah, no. Growing up, um, we went to catechism,
Yeah.
so it was so Catholic. My mom was really into us going to Catholic religion, so we did that.
Hmm.
But that's it.
Right.
Really didn't go to church on Sundays.
Yep. Yeah, I did the same. You know, my great grandparents were big Catholics,
Mhm.
and I think just Louisiana as a whole has a lot of that. But I like to say I'm a catechism dropout.
Right?
You know what I mean? After like third, fourth grade, I mean that was it. I dropped out of Catholic stuff.
He was in the swamp.
Yep. I remember my first gun I got. Well, my first gun was a BB gun, but
Bullet for it,
my first real gun was a 410 crack barrel.
right?
And I used to shoot anything that moved, squirrels, robins, woodpeckers, whatever, and we'd build a little fire and cook it and eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, did Lake Arthur have any kind of like carnivals or fairs every year?
Oh yeah, the Lake Arthur Regatta.
Okay.
In one weekend, 10,000 people had come.
Okay.
It's a big. It's on the lake, of course. So it's a sailboat regatta.
Okay. Yeah, we had a lot too. We had like the boat blessing. So every year, all the shrimp boats pass by this bridge, and the priest is out there blessing the boats. You know, and then they have a fair. And they have like crab races.
Right.
So they put numbers on the back of blue crabs, and put them in slots, and they actually
Right.
bet on them what crab's gonna get down there the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So how old were you when you first tried drugs or alcohol?
Um, Probably like 14.
Okay. And how did it go down? You were just hanging with some friends?
Friends, man, friends. We going around and drinking and man, I got really drunk. You remember the commercial when you'd holler out the window or you have any Grey Poupon?
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
do remember that.
yeah.
It's shake and bake and I have all in.
Right. So I hollered out and the cop stopped us and we hit our beer or whatever. And that was the first interaction with the law anyway. But
Yep,
man, we'd get drunk, but that was the only way I felt like I could talk or felt free from
right.
anything.
Um, yeah, I started drinking at a young age too. I remember we used to go to we get some Mad Dog 2020. Had to be about 12. And we get somebody to buy it for us,
Oh yeah.
and we get some Marlboro Red cigarettes, and we go in the woods and camp out all weekend on the bayou. And we be throwing up weenies and marshmallows everywhere. Um, but it was fun. It was like the wood going in the woods or going in the swamp. It was like your own little world. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
As a kid,
Right.
and it's crazy because it's it's really dangerous if you think about it. You know what I mean? Like people like, man, I don't know how y'all be down there with them alligators and them snakes and stuff. Well, I don't know how y'all be riding them bulls. You ever
Exactly.
just looked at a bull? That's a crazy creature.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not doing that.
How was high school?
High school was good. I was in band, of course, and I played softball. Love softball. Still play it today.
What instrument you play in band?
Played the trumpet and French horn.
Okay. See, that's one regret I have coming from New Orleans, Louisiana, and not playing an instrument. You know, I always thought it was like, oh, I'm too cool for that. You
Right.
know what I mean? But I wish I would have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, can you still play?
I don't know, man. I could, I played a long time, and then I joined a little country music band after
Did you
high
ever
school.
march in a parade?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
marched in a lot of parades. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing about Mardi Gras season is all the schools, their bands march in the parade. And it's when they come through, it's amazing. You know, the drums and the
Right.
horns and everything. And everybody get down with them. And did you graduate?
Yep.
Okay. From what was the name of the school?
Lake Arthur High School.
How many kids?
69.
69?
Yeah, 60.
I like when I lived in Lafitte, down the bayou, south of New Orleans, it went from 7 to 12 and it only had 300 kids.
Right. That's it was 7 to 12. That's
Yep.
that's the way it goes in
And
Lake
then when I
Arthur.
moved back to the city, I went to a school that had 5,000 kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it was a big difference. You
Yeah.
know. So after, did you have any jobs growing up?
Oh yeah. I started peeling crawfish. Matter of fact, at the age of 12,
Okay.
with my mom just on the weekends, and then during the summer.
Freezing the tails.
Oh yeah, where you detail them. It's just meat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember doing that with shrimp, everything.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to eat them though.
You don't want to eat those. Yeah.
um, and what about after high school? Did you plan on going to college? Or
I went to yeah, I did. I went to trade school in Lafayette. Got my degree there, and then after that,
in what?
uh, EMT paramedic.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah, sure did. And then after that, moved back home and started having babies. I have three
Okay,
kids of my own.
okay.
Um,
And were you an EMT?
no,
Okay,
no. I was working at Walmart for a while. Then I became a store manager at another place, and then after that, the oil field, man. It was
you was
simply
working
awful.
offshore.
We went offshore a couple of times, on some barges,
Mm.
um, but mostly it was inland,
Or like in refineries.
on the rigs.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I started working offshore in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. That's how I wound up in North Dakota. But that's a whole other story. But I did that for about 5, 6 years working offshore.
Yeah.
Just catching a helicopter going out in the middle of the Gulf.
Right.
I used to go to Galveston, Texas. I used to drive through Lake Charles,
Mm-hmm.
go through Beaumont, Galveston, the helicopter out in the Gulf,
Mm-hmm.
all over the place.
My stepdad still works out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the big paying jobs
Yeah, down there.
back home. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not in business yourself, it's either you're gonna catch shrimp or some kind of seafood, or you're gonna work offshore or in a refinery or something.
Right.
Um, so how long did you do that?
Well, I did that. I even came. That's how I ended up in North Dakota.
Yeah,
So I did that for almost 17 years.
okay. Um, how old when you first tried drugs?
38.
Man, that's good. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's the
Well, I did weed back in the day, but I
yeah,
mean, I quit that. I tried ecstasy one time, but I really didn't like it. So I was 38.
yeah, yeah. I tried ecstasy when I was 14 for the first time, and I loved
Yeah.
it. Oh man, They talk about your drug of choice. That was my drug of choice. But at the end, it was everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's, yeah. Yeah.
So you was up here in the oil field?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And how'd it go down? Like how did you
Well, I was back in Louisiana, and my grandma, I took over her bar. She gave me her bar, and
oh she had a bar?
she had a bar since 1970. She opened it up, and then I took it over in 2015. And then so I
How
was
was that?
drinking, man. I was drinking,
You had Joker poker
Oh
machines?
man, yes, poker machines. Married a girl. Shoot, one time I woke up and she's beating the shit out of me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" But they had to bring me to the hospital and give me banana bags because I was so drunk. And then one day, I just like they were all like up and at it, and here I am trying to keep my eyes open. So I just tried a line of methamphetamines, and I didn't quit ever since.
Yep. That's how it happened for me too. I snorted some meth.
Yep.
And I was like, yay, it's my birthday. And boy, meth is the devil.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
it's all fun and games at first.
Right.
But
Right. It's fun at first. Yeah.
yeah, and
Until
then
it ain't.
yeah, once the snake bites you, it's a hard. I mean, a lot of people don't come back from it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We are some of the few that have been blessed. But it's something in North Dakota. It can help some Louisiana people. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in Louisiana, when I knew I was addicted to it, I tried to get help, but they said, that's a choice. Help you as if you are an alcoholic or a heroin addict. They didn't
Mhm.
want to help anybody who was struggling with methamphetamines at the time.
Okay. Yeah, I remember hearing about meth like growing up, but it really wasn't around like that. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
that much. It
Hmm.
was like pills, weed,
Right.
cocaine,
Right.
heroin. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I never thought I'd do meth. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Who would ever think that? You know?
Right. And so but yeah, it's crazy like over time how like the boundaries you set for yourself, the morals you set for yourself, like because I've seen a lot of people doing heroin growing up, and I was like, man, I ain't gonna never do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it was like a demon would get into people, and I could see it, you
Hmm.
know. And then I look back at my life, like in a certain point where I crossed the invisible line, and I was just doing everything. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's
Start somewhere.
yeah, and people are like, you doing all that stuff all at one time? I'm like, yeah.
Entrepreneur.
Man, I'm so thankful to be alive
Right.
still.
Me too.
So, when did you come to North Dakota? What year was that?
2018.
2018.
Hmm.
Well, I was here. Yeah, I got here the end of 2015.
Okay.
And so 2018, you got here and where were you working at?
I was living in Williston. I was working for Drake and Allfield Construction. Hmm.
Okay. And what you were living in a man camp or something?
No, I moved up here with one of my best friends named John.
Okay.
And he still lives in Watford, but me and him we grew up together. We went to school together, played in a band together, and I got in some trouble in Louisiana, and he said, "Come up here if you can't find a job. There's something wrong." So
Right.
that's why I came up here to try to start a new beginning.
Yep. This is God's country. you
To-
can you
yeah.
can start a new beginning here, but it's hard to figure it out at first.
Right. Right.
It took me 2 years at my midlife crisis.
Right. Yeah.
And so you get up here, you start working, start
Hmm.
making some money,
Yeah.
and then what?
The addiction is really bad at that point in time, man.
Yeah,
It's really bad with finding it anywhere. Then all of a sudden, I'm not showing up to work on time, and it starts affecting my work, and yeah, and then COVID hit. That sucked, and then that's when I had to make ends meet, so I started just dealing. You
yep.
know.
You know it was crazy when COVID hit and things were getting crazy and people was you had to wear a mask and all this stuff. And I would see a whole bunch of drug addicts in a circle, all got their masks on, but sharing the same needle.
Right. Or the same pipe.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
that don't make no sense.
No.
You know what
No.
I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And so when you started dealing, how long was it before you got in trouble?
Not long.
Yep.
Not long. I had a lot of state stuff. you know. Um, I had a PO, just random things, but not anything big, just
Right.
anything small that was on me. They
Right.
really didn't catch me until I got to Bismarck.
Hmm. Yep. I can tell you one thing: North Dakota ain't the place to sell drugs. You know what I mean?
No, they can go with you.
Yeah. I don't. But people still keep coming. It's like a Venus flytrap. You know what I mean? Come on here and do some bad stuff and make a whole bunch of money. Then it closes
Right,
on you.
right. Yeah.
Um. So, what were some of the darkest points of your
Uh,
life?
living on the streets,
Yeah.
eating out of trash cans. Uh, and I tell this in my story, but growing up as a little girl, you never think that you're gonna wind up like this, or even selling your body just to even get money just to buy drugs,
Hmm.
And it was awful. That was probably the darkest point in my life ever.
Hmm. And that was here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The darkest part of my life was here. I had some. I look at it. I had some dark points here and there, but here was the darkest,
Yeah.
and it was cold. You know what I mean? They say hell is hot. I think it's cold in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is where I struggle the most, is in North Dakota.
Have you ever overdosed?
Um,
Okay. Yep. I thought one time I overdosed in my sleep, and this was the afterlife. You
yeah.
know what I mean? For real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been lucky too. You know what I mean? But it was like I never even heard of fentanyl and all that stuff.
No, me neither till I got up here.
Yeah, and then it was like the the push of when they turned the pills to fentanyl from what
Hmm.
they was. Um, I wasn't even like into it, but a lot of people didn't get that memo, and they did now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then some people did get the memo, and then they still keep doing it, and then they wind up dying later on.
Hmm.
So that was a whole different thing. But meth will definitely ruin your life.
Well, they put fentanyl in meth now too, so.
Yeah, it ain't
Mhm.
it ain't a good time to be a drug user either. You know what
No.
I mean? You don't know what they got in there.
Right.
And I remember somebody telling me that back home right before I moved up here. He was like, "Man, he was like, if I was using this stuff, he said I would be testing everything. You know what
Right.
I mean, just to make sure." And I was like, I ain't worried about all that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
But I think God saved us when He did, because the way that I was living and the way that you was living, we'd definitely be dead. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? You know what I
definitely.
mean?
Hmm. Yeah, one day I was praying like I need to stop, but I didn't know how.
Right.
I just, and then 2 weeks later I get indicted and they bring me to jail, and I think that was my saving grace.
How did that go down the day that happened?
I was working at EMR. I was a heavy equipment operator there, and that's at the junkyard place over there.
Hmm.
Um, and my wife calls me and says, "Hey, uh, we getting arrested. You need to come get the truck." So I knew already. So when I got at the truck, I was indicted right there. But I got caught in Lincoln, grabbing some mail that was full of drugs, at an apartment complex over there. So I knew I was getting indicted sooner or later.
Right.
That's the day that they picked me up, was on the 14th, 3/14/23. That's why our sobriety date is 3/15/23.
Okay. So you got what, 2 years coming up? 3 years?
I just made 2 years on the 15th of
Two
March.
years. Well,
Hmm.
congratulations.
Hmm.
Um, so how did you feel when you got indicted?
Ah,
Cause that I never even heard of that back home.
no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't even hear about like indicting, like if it's rare. You know what I mean? You
Right,
don't hear about that. You get up here, it's everywhere. You know what I
right.
mean? Like when I was when I was in jail here, like for the first couple times, I was just listening to all these people's story, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm indicted, and they came in, and I had 50,000 in a shoebox. I'm like, man, I should have been breaking into drug dealers' houses.
Right.
But yeah. So you get indicted, and then you went to a federal facility.
No, I went to Burley.
Okay.
Yep. Burley, and it was, when I was in the back of that cop car, I tell this to a lot of people. It was just like a relief, though.
Hmm.
It was a relief. Like, maybe this will help me, because I didn't know what else to do.
Right.
Mhm.
And so, how long did you stay excuse me, in Burley?
100 days,
Okay.
and then I went to.
Walking in a circle.
Oh, yeah, 52. If you walk around 52 times was a mile, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
checking the phone, seeing if you got a voicemail.
Right.
You know,
Right. Yeah. It's in no circle, man. That's all you can
I
do.
know. I was in there. I was in there for 4 months.
4 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was in there for 4 months with a $5,000 bond, and I couldn't get a bond protection. And then I finally got one, and I was
Right.
out of there. But yeah, just walking in circles. I think they should take away the tablets in there
Hmm.
and give them Fitbit watches so they can count their steps.
Right.
You know.
We'd mark down every time we walk a mile, So
Yep.
that's great.
Um. So you was in there. How did you get out?
So the judge told me that I could go to BTC or center, or I had to go to a treatment facility. And
Okay.
that's when I started looking, but a lot of people around here don't take federal people. But that's when I came across Prairie Recovery Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Prairie Recovery Center,
Yeah.
Steph, Dave, the whole everybody out there.
Yeah.
So you came across and you fill out the app.
Yeah. I filled out the app. The lady in jail told me about a place um that was newer than the other ones. So I said, "Well, where's it at?" And they said it's about an hour away. I said, "I don't care. I want to get out of here,"
Mm.
And Stephanie, man, I tell you what, I called her every day, sometimes twice a day. I'm sure she got tired of hearing me, but
So did they come pick you up or they delivered you?
oh, Neil came in the big blue van, man. I tell you what, he came and he was the first person I got to see. And then he brought me to McDonald's, man. I thought I was, man, it was wonderful. I thought I was in a palace,
Yeah.
eating McDonald's after 100 days eating burley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So you get the Prairie Recovery Center.
Mm-hmm.
Had you ever been to treatment before?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, me either. Until I went to treatment. And,
Mhm.
and so, what were you thinking in your head, like how you visualized it was, and then when you got there?
Right. So, like, if you ever watch 28 Days Later, or where is it, 28 Days or something like that,
Mm,
or being in a straight jacket, or, that's what I thought it was. I didn't realize it was like it was. I was
mm,
scared. I was nervous. I thought it was like a hospital
mm.
that we couldn't even go outside, that
Right,
maybe a gate.
right,
I didn't know nothing. Yeah.
right. So you got there, and how long were you in treatment?
I was in treatment for 70 days.
70 days. You had the long haul.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
But it was okay. While I was in there, I learned a lot, They do mental and substance abuse, so it's a dual facility, and it was nice. I got a call one night though, saying that my daughter had overdosed, and then my son had overdosed, and my wife had I was just everybody was ODing, man. I just wanted to leave out of there, man. Go
Did
find them.
anybody pass away?
No,
No.
no, but then I thought about it that night. I gave somebody else's mom, somebody else's brother, sister. So I started holding myself accountable and starting to change the way I thought.
Right.
Hmm.
And so after 70 days there, how did you feel?
Boy, it's a roller coaster. It's a mental roller coaster, that's for sure. Um, it felt good, but I was ready to hit the world head on. But I didn't realize how hard it was going to be when, going back home instead of going to a sober living house. Yeah.
Right. And so you went back to your wife
Yeah, I
when
did
you
go.
got out
Mhm.
when Bismarck?
Well, no, at El Rancho.
Oh, and Mandan.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so you get back and then what?
Well, nobody else was clean. I was the only one clean. I walk into the house, my federal PO comes in there with me, and I was crying. She's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "When I left out of here, I thought it was a palace because I was high. I
Right.
thought I was living right. And then when I got in there, it was just like it was crazy. I couldn't believe I ever lived in something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was very much horrible.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been in some rough places too. You know what I mean?
Right. It was a trap house. It was definitely a trap house.
Right.
And then started looking for a job. I went to interview with Knife River, and then I went to interview with Prairie Recovery Center. And
The treatment center that you just
right, the
was at.
treatment center just out because man, they saved my life. They helped save my life. And even when I got out, if I was struggling, I called them and they helped me. Even if they had to get my LAC, or even Stephanie or Alicia or anybody that was there talk to me and help me out. So that was my saving grace too. And then I figured if I go back working in the oil field or anything like that, them 100+ hours, what I'm gonna do, man, I'm gonna go straight back to it. So
Mhm.
money ain't everything, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then I turned over to them, and I wanted to, give back what they gave me, my
Hmm.
life. And
Right.
I've
Eh,
been there ever since.
Yep. So you got a job at the treatment center,
Right.
and you've been working there ever since.
Right. Ever since. Yeah, I got my peer support in 20 uh last year in March,
So
and
do you
then
do peer support?
yes, I do.
So you have like a couple clients that you call and you go meet with them?
No, that's not how it works there. We do peer support with the people that are there because our facility can hold up to 36 people, so that's a lot. But if they're struggling there, yes. And then we do what's called outreach. So after they graduate and stuff, we call them, see how they're doing. If they're struggling, some of them we bring them back in. If they are really struggling, and but we just check up on them,
Mm.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's what's up. Did you ever think in your life you would work at a treatment center?
Hell no. I thought that was for quitting.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how is your life now with your loved one?
Um. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No, I'm home. I'm single. Um, just me and my two dogs. Um, I still have not gone to sentencing yet. Sentencing
So you
August.
still live in Bismarck?
No, I live in Mandam.
Okay. In the same place?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, no.
You got your own place.
That's it. That's it, man. I
Your
tell you what,
own peace.
my own peace of mind. I tell you what, this lady, um, when I was at PRC, everybody kept stealing from my trailer over there, and it was crazy because I didn't have no. It's hard to get a house or anything that rents to felons,
Right.
So it was just hard for me. And one day, Jolene just came up to me and said, "Here, God told me to give you the key." She's never rented out her apartment or anything, and that's where I live today, man. By the grace of God, you do things right, and
And
God feeds
blessings
you.
do come.
Yeah, blessings do come, man. And yeah, and then I start school in August for my LAC. So
Okay.
yeah,
Where you gonna go to school at?
University of Mary.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amen to that.
yeah. Monica, I tell you what, she's the one that pushed me into going. So
From PRC?
well, she did go to PRC, but now she's manager of a house. So kudos to her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's amazing.
yeah,
And you got this.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so you drive every day to PRC.
yeah. We
Okay.
carpool. We carpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, how many people have you seen go through treatment there since you've been working there?
Oh man,
If
I've
you
been.
had to take a guess.
If I had to take a guess, probably in a year and a half. Uh, Oh, no, a few hundred, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I go to like all these meetings and stuff, and in one meeting, I noticed I was chain breakers. There was 19 of us in that room from all graduates from PRC, so it was
Right.
nice. Yeah.
But shout out to PRC. I go there and speak sometimes, and they always show me love, and they've been great to sober talk. So that's an amazing thing.
Yes.
What's your favorite food?
Blue crab, actually.
Okay,
Yep.
that she like the tandem crab,
Yeah.
females or male?
Females.
Okay, she like them eggs.
Yeah, yeah. It's my favorite food. Yes.
Yep. When the last time you ate a soft shell crab?
Well, I had it in a sushi. But actually, a soft shell crab. It's been since I moved up here. Yeah,
So
like
I
I said.
remember when I was a kid, we used to go crabbing,
Mm-hmm.
but then they would take like the buster crabs
Uh-huh.
and put them in this box and lower it down in a little bit of water, and then they would shed out their shell, and you take them out when they soft and put them
Mm-hmm.
on ice.
Right.
And that's uh that's big money in a restaurant.
Oh yeah, yeah. Soft shell crabs. We just go with a string with a piece of metal at the end. We go crabbing all the time.
Right.
Hmm.
Um, when's the last time you ate crawfish?
Well, I go to that one place.
Chinatown
Yeah,
on
Chinatown
Sundays.
on Sundays. That's about
Yep.
every Sunday that I'm off. That's where I go eat my crawfish. So,
Yep.
but that's about the only crawfish I get.
Yeah, I went to the fire pit today. Because they have crawfish on Fridays now.
Oh,
To
really?
check them out, but
I'm gonna have to go.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's not how I eat them.
Right, right,
I'd rather go to Chinatown.
right.
Or if I can get some live ones like I did last weekend,
Oh yeah,
I
then
just
that.
boil them at my house.
Right, right.
And so I love it, man.
Yeah,
I wish I could. That'd been my favorite food since I was a kid.
right. Crawfish. Yeah, crawfish, crabs, shrimp.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah,
Anything come
any
out the
kind of.
water.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Anything come out the water.
Hmm.
What's something you do now that you're sober and your life is going good that you didn't do before?
Mm, I like being of service, that's for sure.
Yep.
I like going around, talking to people, having my sponsees, helping them out, watching them grow. My sponsors, big shout out to my sponsors, Amy Jo and Jasmine. They helped me through a lot, but I mean, I don't know. I go shopping a lot. I need to quit that, you know. And then fishing. I was struggling with fishing for a minute. Because I've been fishing all my life, but I was doing it high all the time. I was high. Stay out there 3 or 4 days, didn't even know,
Mhm.
come back with a shit ton of fish. But yeah, so now when I go fishing, sometimes I get a little triggered, but it's okay. I go with sober friends. So
Okay.
that's what I like to do. I
So
like to fish.
where's the good fishing spots? What y'all catching walleye?
I like catfish. That's mine.
Yeah,
I'm from the South. That's what I
yeah.
like to catch.
So you clean them yourself?
Yep.
You got the little skinner thing?
Yep. Sure
Okay.
do.
Well, I'm gonna have to holler at you. I
Yep.
don't like cleaning catfish.
Well, you call me and yeah, I'm pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get them out of there.
That's when I went back to Louisiana in November. I picked me up two of them, two catfish skinners, because they don't have that up here.
Right. I caught a catfish back home. It was about this big one time. One of them big old fat old catfish that was down there for a minute.
A goujon?
Yeah. And so if you could visit anywhere in the world in this new life, where would you go?
um, that's out of two spots though. I'd either go to Alaska just to see it, or I'd go down to the Bahamas.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the universe just heard it.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
Manifested in there, right?
Yep. Do you pray now?
I pray all the time, dude.
Yep.
Yep,
Well, amen to that. Because God is real.
yep,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Take us out of them trailer parks. And you know what I mean? All that crazy life is just amazing.
Right, right.
You got any shout outs?
Shout out to PRC.
Woo woo.
Love everybody there. Man, if I had a list of the names, but I can't. But you know, love y'all. Um, shout out, like I said, to my sponsors. Shout out to my sponsees. Shout out to everybody, even in the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Well, amen to that. Yeah, she brought me back an alligator head
yep, sure
and,
did.
and some other little stuff for it. It made me feel good.
Yep.
Yep, I got that on my desk, and then the license plate, the coon ass license plate, I got it hanging up in my place. But I think I'm gonna hang it up at my wedding too.
There you go. I'm going back down to Louisiana the end of May, beginning of June. My mom has surgery, so I'm going down to see her.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we went. I think 2 summers ago. I brought my fiance and my son to meet his great grandparents and stuff for the first time and show them around. And we went in July, and it was hot. I ain't used to that humidity no more.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? I've been up here too long. And it was, I mean, we had a good time. It was just only 4 days. But I go home and visit, but I got to get back to North Dakota.
That's how I am now. Ever been on those floating bridges? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I had videoed a floating bridge, and I was gonna bring Stephanie Jokum, from PRC down there. But man, I don't think she lasts. I don't think she lasts at all.
Maybe he's got to coach her through.
All out here is hamburgery all the way.
Yep. We got a lot of crazy bridges and we got ferries and all kind of stuff.
Yep.
And pirogues,
Yeah.
So a pirogue is like a Cajun kayak, you know what I mean, or a canoe.
Oh, a canoe, yeah.
But it's got a flat bottom on it to go in low water in the swamp. Um, if you had any words of wisdom to people out there that's still using drugs and they don't know how to get out of it and they're in a dark place or they went to treatment and they're thinking about not being sober, if you had any words of wisdom, what would you say?
I would say recovery is possible. You gotta want it. If you want it, we can help you. I mean, I'm living proof. You're living proof.
Right.
And I tell you what, it doesn't matter which treatment facility you go to. Just go to somewhere. Just go
Mhm.
get yourself out of that dark place, because yeah, 6 feet under ain't no joke.
Right. Amen to that. Well, I got Amber Labauve, straight from Lake Arthur, Louisiana. 2 years sober. Uh, works at PRC now, the same treatment center that helped her get sober, and she's doing great things.
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm proud of you, sis,
Thank
and I
you.
want to thank you for coming. I want to thank everybody for watching. Shout out to Prairie Recovery Center. Shout out for Tied for Second Sober Living and New Freedom Center. Shout out to Shout out to Serenity Bridge. I mean, a lot of things coming up. The weather's starting to warm up. They got some things going down at Native Inc. Tomorrow they have a sober bingo thing. You can win some prizes. And then every Wednesday night in the month of April is Alcohol Awareness Month. And I forgot what the governor proclaimed it. Uh, Change Your Life Month or something like that. Or you can it's something like that. I forgot how he worded it, but you can look it up. But a lot of things going on, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at my wedding in
Oh,
August.
I'll be there.
And thanks for coming. But I want to thank everybody for always tuning in to Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. And if you can't stay sober, catch an Uber. In the words of my great grand sponsor, Jack Height, if nobody told you yet, we love you, baby. Peace and chicken grease.
Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby.